Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is our NXT review. Let's do something a bit different tonight. I actually want Ashton to go first, how he felt about this episode of NXT. So, partner, how did this episode make you feel?
Um, Realistically, it made me feel ready to stop covering NXT.
Yeah. You know what, the funny thing was, I'm not going to claim that I saw all of this perfectly, because I was dealing with stuff tonight. I did see more of this NXT than I thought I did. But I will say, what I saw wasn't necessarily bad. But then again, remember what I said to you in preview and predictions? How, like, in a way, it was depressing because we saw on the 2.0 team really what the future was in WWE's mind, and how you and I were only enthused about maybe like two of those people. Like, I know you and I are both really enthused about Haze, and you know that I actually like Braun, and I loved what Braun did tonight. But when you think about Tony, who's kind of a toss-up, because I think he's really green, even though I like the gimmick right now. We don't know if he can evolve. We don't know, and especially in-ring, we don't know if he can evolve. But I'm using evolve in a general sense. And then Grayson Waller, who, I'm sorry I keep saying his name like that. I really can't say it any other way.
Yeah.
You know that he's going to be a big priority, especially after NXT tonight, because Johnny does the whole emotional, oh, am I leaving? And then Grayson just beats the fuck out of him.
Do you remember?
And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, you know, do I remember what?
Do you remember how much I used to loathe The Miz back in like 2011, 12, 13, 14?
Yeah.
Oh man, your internet must be fucked right now because there is like a solid 4 or 5 second delay between me finishing saying something and you responding. But I think Grayson Waller is my new Miz.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I can see that. I can definitely see that, because, you know, I'm watching that ending and I'm just thinking, you know, I don't want to hate on this, but it's just really not for me.
Yeah.
It's just not really for me at all. I'm not here for it personally. So yeah, when you said it made you feel like you want to stop covering NXT, I have to say again, just based on what WWE seems to be prioritizing, same. So let's get into our first segment so that we can keep talking about this. Heat of the night. And I'm going to start with a nitpick. I don't like that Cameron Grimes and Duke Hudson are still interacting with each other. I like the two of them, and I even really can't say that I didn't like what they did tonight. It was fun. I mean, I know you popped for the wig, and I did too. But like, a hair versus hair is a blow-off.
In Mexico, it definitely is.
Like my thing is, if you really wanted to do more matches in this feud, yeah, absolutely. Like, or let me just be more pointed. Hair versus hair anywhere should be a blow off, so I can be as exact as possible. If you wanted to get more matches out of these guys, I'd understand why you couldn't have Duke cheat to beat Cameron in one match. Maybe Cameron still beats him at the poker table, so that really makes Duke irate. And he's like, okay, well, I've got to humiliate you the way you humiliated me, just the way they did. Hair versus hair, everything the same. But then that's the blow-off, because Grimes just gets the win in the ring now, even after Duke cheated to win their first match or whatever. Like, I don't understand why we're still doing this when Grimes is very clearly proven to be the superior competitor. And then, you know, if Duke wins this, good for him, I guess, because he gets some of his heat back.
Issue that I take with you saying that Grimes is very clearly the better competitor is that he did have a handful of tights when he pinned Duke.
That's fair. That is fair, because you are right about that. I just, after everything that's happened, it's like, well, I blew my load. Like, you got my pop, because they had a really great takeover match.
Yeah.
You're not going to get any more out of me after my pop. I already gave you the pop. So move on to something else. So again, and this is just a nitpick. I didn't want to make it seem like it's a
Yeah, this is a really interesting one because I feel like I just can't like. I do understand where your gripe lies. I just don't necessarily agree with it exclusively because of the fact that this program is literally the shining fucking star of this entire episode of NXT. And if it wasn't going on anymore, this NXT would have been like 3 out of 10.
Brother, I'm gonna need you to do me a favor and check your internet on your end, because I checked my internet and everything was fine, but you've actually been cutting out quite a bit for me, and everything, and you keep talking about that delay. So I'm wondering if your internet's okay, because I know mine was when I checked. I'm only worried about the cutouts that you've been having. But yeah, I mean, I can understand why you can see where I'm coming from. You just disagree with it. Because, they have been doing good work. I was just hoping that Grimes and Hudson would be doing something else. But we'll see how the no-holds-barred match goes. I'm going to hand it over to you now, though, if you have any heats tonight that you want to share.
Yeah, before I do get into anything heat of the night related, I do want to relay back to you. My ping is 9, my download speed is almost 80 Mbps, and my upload is almost 40. So it's definitely not a problem on my end.
I really don't know what's happening then, because both of our speed tests seem to tell us that what we've got going on is normal. So I guess we'll just go on. Maybe it's a Facebook thing for all we know.
Which speed test are you using?
But yes, I'm using the speed test app kind of thing. I could also do the Google speed test or whatever.
Is it Ookla?
I think it is Ookla, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Ookla.
Yeah, all right, then we're using the same one. Anyway, as far as my God, I just got to get this straight. Your first heat of the night was really more of a nitpick, and it's that the Grimes Duke Hudson feud isn't over because you felt like, Grimes shaving Hudson's hair should have been the exclamation point on the feud. Do I have that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right. God, what is my biggest heat of the night? Good lord. I tell you what. I'll tell you exactly what my biggest heat of the night is. Jensen and Briggs beating the Creed brothers despite a distraction from GYV.
Well, wait, didn't Jensen and Briggs beat Diamond Mine? GYV was on commentary.
I literally said they beat the Creed brothers despite distraction from GYV.
Oh, see, you cut out. See, that's what I mean. Like the cutouts, yeah, it's kind of fucking with me. So I thought you had made a mistake and said, okay, so no, you're right. You're right. And that
we
was
have
the
5 people
you, so
live here right now. Can anybody tell us, am I cutting out for anyone other than John? Because I feel like I'm not really cutting out, but there's no way for me to know if no one else is giving
I'm curious because he's cutting out quite a bit for me here.
Yeah, I'm curious too. Anyway, yeah, so the problem is, just to restate it, hopefully I don't cut out as much this time or at all, ideally. The idea that Jensen and Briggs beat the Creed brothers in spite of the interference from GYV.
Oh, okay, because you yeah, that annoyed me too. There was a lot on this show that annoyed me again that I did see, and that was definitely one of them because Foster says he doesn't hear any cutting out on your side, but again, my stuff's normal, so I don't know what the fuck the problem is. But yeah, that annoyed me because Diamond Mine's whole thing is like they're these legit people, these legit competitors, and yet there they are losing, losing matches that to me they shouldn't be. So, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, and of course, the problem that I have isn't just with the fact that the Creed brothers lost. It's also that Briggs and Jensen are so fucking OP that they can win in spite of a distraction.
Yeah, I really don't like that they're getting pushed as they are, man. Like, I don't see the appeal. And they just seem really committed to these guys. I wouldn't be surprised if they were tag team champions at some point next year, honestly.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I think the worst part might be that they're being pushed as baby faces. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that makes no sense to me either. But then when you remember that this is a conservative corporation, it starts to make a bit more sense. But even then, it's like, holy shit, read the fucking room.
Yeah, honestly, you didn't even have to say conservative. You just say corporation, and it implies conservative.
That's very true. Of course, we know liberalism isn't too much better, but that's a whole separate point. And we're not a political podcast.
We
So
are a
yeah,
political wrestling
let me think if
podcast,
I have
though.
any other.
I actually was thinking earlier today,
Yeah,
like,
it gets
I
tedious on
wonder
the
if we could
political
do
side.
like a rebrand and like go from TwitWoW to like leftists talk wrestling or something like that.
Maybe,
I don't know.
maybe, because then it's like, oh, the world of wrestling. Well, the world that we enjoy living in, which is, right
Yeah.
now primarily Joshi wrestling. Because this shit is just not doing it for me. Um, yeah, I do I even want to complain about anything else? I didn't really mind Wagner O'Reilly. I actually thought that was a pretty solid cage match.
Yeah, I will add
Fucking
though, I
fuck
thought it was
everything LA
weird
Knight
that
related.
they
Fuck
went
everything
out of their
Grayson Waller
way
related, which
to
he was a big part.
write off two different characters tonight. Like they had the Wagner attack on O'Reilly to write him off, and then to close the show, they had the fucking Waller attack on Gargano to write him off. So, like, I understand that both of those guys' contracts are up and they're both probably leaving, but did you really have to write them both off in the same night, in the same way, trying to put over the newer guys that are 2.0 that you're just trying, like, just now trying to push? Like, it felt very formulaic, and it, like, opened and closed the show.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty hard telegraph. Like, yeah, these guys aren't coming back. These are the guys now, and if you don't like them, that's like a you problem kind
Yeah.
of thing. I don't know. That was the vibe I got. So yeah, I don't know. Um, it really was weird. Like again, I like the cage match. I even like most of Johnny's promo until how they decided to fucking end it.
Yeah.
But this NXT was just weird. Honestly, the one part that I don't think I had any problem with that was really cool was again the cage match was fine, so I won't even complain about that too much. But I mean Zion Quinn and fucking Escobar I thought was good.
That
I don't know
was
how you thought about that match,
interesting.
but I at least
I'll
thought
give
that
you
was good and it's
interesting for
kind of
sure.
telling an interesting story. Yeah. All right, I guess. Well, actually, is there anything else you want to just kind of air out right here in our heat of the night segment? Because for me, I was just kind of so blasé about everything. It would just be
Yeah.
better to do a review and just kind of get into things.
Yeah. I mean, God, I don't know. Is there anything else that? Well, I don't know if this really counts as a heat of the night. It probably doesn't, but I have to complain. Mandy Rose is fucking awful as NXT Women's Champion. She's garbage on the mic. She's a fucking garbage ass in ring worker. There is just nothing compelling about this woman. And I know that like there are people, and unfortunately Vince McMahon is one of them, that would make the argument that her look is all the appeal that she needs as champion. But like that is such a subjective thing. And while I'm sure that there are dudes where Mandy is their type, I promise you, and take this from someone who is speaking from experience, she is not everyone's type. She is absolutely not. And I think you could probably even make the argument that she's not most men's type or most female attracted people's type. Like it just you're banking on her hotness to sell tickets, and that's so fucking shallow. And that's like putting all your eggs in such a shitty little basket that you just have to hope holds together long enough to carry them to where you need to go. It's just so dumb. I hate it.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I really don't know what to add to that. I think you said everything perfectly. Really, I just want to get through this review. I really don't fucking know with NXT. I mean, like you said it at the start. It just made you not want to cover NXT anymore. And we did say we were going to be more honest about what we're enjoying and what we're not. And it's
Yeah.
just very clear to me that neither one of us is enjoying NXT these days.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get into our NXT review.
We did open with the
And
cage match,
we
I
open
will
up,
know
we get a
that.
recap, everything broken down. Yeah, we opened up with the cage match. Some really inspired stuff here. I mean, Kyle, I think, really put Wagner over. Wagner looked like $1,000,000, even kicking out of Kyle's diving knee off the top rope.
Yep.
I thought that made him look quite tough. And then, the low blow. And then he sends Kyle into the cage, I think, like 2 times before he gets his, like, double arm underhook slam-type finisher for the 3 count. And then, like you said, the post-match beatdown. So, again, I thought it was a solid cage match. Good work from both guys.
Dude had
And
Kyle
Wagner tries to get
hanging
more heat
in
on
a
himself
tree
in
of
the
woe,
post-match.
facing outside of the cage in the doorway, and just slammed the cage door into his face multiple times. It was pretty brutal. I was like, this is cool. This is a good way to write Kyle off. But then they did the exact same style of write off for Gargano at the end of the night. Like, that was so fucking stupid. Like, I'm sorry, but that was just really dumb.
Yeah, I wish I knew what they were thinking, what was kind of going through their minds. Clearly, they didn't think that these kinds of things needed to be, individuated. The only thing that needed to be individuated were, I guess, the attackers or whatever. So that's, I guess, where NXT is at. They keep hyping up that, Gargano has a speech tonight. And, we'll have to see how that goes. But actually, no, we don't have to see how that goes because you and I already know how it went. But afterwards, we get a Joe Gacy thing, and he says Harlan's debuting next week. He said the only they don't consider the size of Harlan's heart because they only consider how big he is and how intimidating he looks, but they don't consider the size of his heart. He says he accepts Harlan. Well, that's freaking great.
Dude,
and Harlan's gonna debut next week.
Weird, creepy mass shooter vibes from this duo, because I sure as fuck do.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Like, I look at this duo and I'm like, so what draft are you on in the manifesto, huh?
Yeah, dude.
Because it really does. It gives off those vibes,
at the end of this segment. I said, I'm sorry, I just can't take Gacy seriously when he says shit like, together we can change the world, with one of the most skinhead looking motherfuckers in existence standing behind him looking menacing. They look like they're about to shoot up a fucking synagogue or something. How long before Gacy says something before white genocide or about white genocide?
I don't think they'd go that far, and if they do, it's going to be heavily veiled, and I wonder if you and I will be able to detect it. I'm assuming we will, given how into that kind of stuff we are, like in terms of finger on the pulse and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really don't like this duo, but again, it is what it is, right? Braun comes out, he gets right to the point. He's like, hey, they're 1-1 as far as he's concerned because Ciampa beat him in Halloween Havoc, but he pinned him. That meaning Breaker pinned Ciampa inside War Games. So he wants one more shot for the NXT Championship. And then surprisingly, Diamond Mine interrupts. I wasn't expecting this.
I was so hyped for this.
And Malcolm Bivens.
I immediately thought, is Roderick Strong about to enter the NXT Championship conversation? Unfortunately, that's not where it went, but I'm still intrigued. I'm still interested by the direction they went here.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Bivens here. He kept calling Braun LeBron, kind of mockingly.
I know.
So that was great.
He called him
and they
Big
just
Bro
say like
at one point too.
Yeah, I fucking love Malcolm Bivens. And so he's kind of telling him like, hey, Roderick Strong, he's dominated the cruiserweight division. So now the weight limit has been lifted. He's looking for more competition, more big money fights outside of that scope of the term cruiserweight. And the big fight match he's looking at is you, and he points to Braun. Braun laughs. I love Braun's energy here. And Braun just says, hey, where's he at? And he says, oh, he's in the back chilling. And Braun actually, I think even before that, he tells Bivens, dude, if you don't get to the point, I'm going to lift you up and I'm going to throw your ass into the 5th row.
Yeah,
I love that. It was so great. And Malcolm Bivens, that was in the beat. He's like, oh, absolutely. And Bivens, without missing a beat, was just like, LeBron, the Creed brothers will not let you do that. So Creed brothers were like just waiting to be given a reason, just like, come on, and yeah, they say, the Roderick, he'll face Braun eventually, but that he has to understand that, Team Black and Gold might have laid the foundation, but, Roderick was the blueprint. And yeah, says that'll happen next week. So Braun Breaker versus Roderick Strong, which honestly, given that Roddy's a fucking workhorse, should be a really good matchup. I like that Braun's getting in the ring with these types of people because it'll only make him better long term. So yeah, I'm all for this. After that, we get Creed Brothers versus Jensen and Briggs. You already talked about this in Heat of the Night. I'm not fucking dwelling on this shit. Oh, God, Von Wagner's promo. Von Wagner's a really weird talker to me. I don't know if he seems uncomfortable or what. But he just says, War Games is over. Kyle is over. But his War Games have just begun. And actually, we do get a Robert Stone sighting here. But Mackenzie sends it back to commentary before we really get anything from Stone.
He does. Appearance on this show was one of the highlights of it for me. In this little tiny bit of time, he was just so entertaining just by existing and making faces.
Dude, it really does seem like he's scouting a male talent, and I'm really wondering where that's going to go. So, yeah, we see Zion Quinn kind of warming up.
Signing, fucking Jacket Time or something.
That would be amazing. Honestly, I'm thinking about those personalities, and I'm just like, yes.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, Jacket Time.
Yeah, after that, we get our big Duke Hudson, Cameron Grimes segment. Yeah, if you want to talk about it, feel free, man. So, what did you like about all this? I'm guessing the wig was like the big pop for you, Hudson's wig.
Oh God, I know I must be cutting out a lot for you because I didn't say anything about Hudson Grimes at all. I said that I enjoyed Jacket Time's promo tonight with the GYV and the little brawl they had.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, oof. Jacket Time was good. I thought Jacket Time was good.
They were after Grimes.
But yeah, after this, we got Hudson and Grimes. Yeah, so Grimes and Hudson came after the Robert Stone stuff.
Yeah.
You already heard me kind of touch on this. I know you told me on Facebook you pop for like the fact that Hudson actually did try and wear a wig and be like, oh, don't believe everything you read on the internet. So what did you think about all this?
I loved it. I thought this was highlight of the night by far. Hudson is like, why is this guy not selling out WrestleMania by now? Like, what is taking them so long to push this guy to the fucking moon? He's built like a fucking rock star. The dude's built like a more swole somehow Cesaro. He's charismatic as hell. Tonight's promo came off so natural. And, like, he's a good actor. And, like, it's not a guarantee with all good wrestlers. And he's a good wrestler, as we witnessed on Sunday night. And that's another reason why I don't have any kind of problem with this feud continuing. Because Grimes and Hudson had a great match on Sunday, and I have no problem seeing more of that,
Yeah. I get that. I think I was just really ready for Grimes to either like do North American Championship or something. Maybe even Odyssey Jones making fun of Duke Hudson's bald head, and then they get into a feud. I thought they'd be done with each other, but one more match isn't going to kill anybody. It's whatever. That's why, again, I want to stress it was just a nitpick.
Right.
I'm not raging about it. I just thought that these guys would do other stuff by now. But yeah, after that, because Grimes does come out, they do their thing, they brawl, but Grimes stands tall to end the segment. Then we get Briggs and Jensen celebrating, and then Jacket Time and all that. So what did you think about all this?
I enjoyed this. I thought this was a lot of fun. I obviously hated the Jensen and Briggs interaction, but as soon as it came down to just Jacket Time and GYV, it immediately became fun. And Zach Gibson threw one hell of a stiff forearm on Ikemen Jiro that I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, and then here's another interesting thing here. We see Karen Q's character again.
Yes.
And apparently her name now is Wendy Chu. Choo. Oh,
really? It's
so how are we feeling about that?
God. They really named her after a train. What?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Where are you seeing that?
It's a very different character. She just likes to sleep a lot.
God, that gives me Raku vibes.
Wait, you cut out there big time again. Can you say that again?
I don't even know which part you didn't hear, so I'll just say both. First of all, I'm curious where you're seeing that Karen Q's new character's name is. I forget what the first name was, but whatever it is, Chu, Choo. But second of all, I said that her whole gimmick just being that she's sleepy all the time gives me Raku vibes. Raku from TJPW, the girl that does like the whole sleep gimmick thing.
I'm reading a recap of NXT from WrestlingHeadlines.com, and that's how they have it. So I guess
Oh,
they could be mistaken for the record.
yeah.
But I will say, as far as the sleeping gimmick, it's different. It's definitely different, and I'm wondering because we know Karen Q's like solid in the ring, so I'm wondering how this particular character is going to get in the ring. I'm wondering if it's just going to be a heel that sees them sleeping and it's like, "Hey, wake up!" or whatever. It's just really rude. And then Wendy's just like, that was my nap time. Fuck off. Let's handle it in the ring," kind of thing. But
And then
yeah,
she's a fucking
definitely a
beast
very
in the
different
ring.
character than what I'm used to in NXT. Yeah, right. But she has to sleep like 20 hours a day to be that beast in the ring. Like,
My
yeah, there
God,
are interesting
she's
possibilities
human
here. There are
Snorlax.
definitely very interesting possibilities here. Exactly. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. So I'm actually excited for this, admittedly. Um, then after that, we get Carmelo Haze versus Dexter Loomis. Um, solid, solid interaction here, I guess. Actually, before that, we do get a little something with Grayson Waller and indie star Tesha Price. And yeah, I guess she just kind of rebukes him, and she ends up going with LA Knight, who I think they are committing to Knight being a babyface now. So I
Mm-hmm.
guess we'll have to see how that works out, and if the CWC arena takes tonight as a babyface.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean I don't blame her for rejecting Grayson Waller. I think any sensible person would, from where I sit. But LA Knight,
Oh, honey, you can do
I
so
don't know
much
about that one,
better.
Chief. That's pretty much the vibe that I'm emanating in my anxious aardvarkness. So yeah, 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 okay. So then as far as Loomis versus Hayes, I mean Loomis won by DQ, so I guess that's cool because it keeps him in the conversation. I just wish that they could give Loomis, a straight up win, and I don't want to get my hopes up here about a program between him and Hayes because Hayes is probably going to retain the championship, and honestly, as much as I love Loomis, he should. I mean, this is a rare case where I think like the champion actually beating Loomis is the right call because I think Hayes could really go down as one of the best North American champions, if not the best. So, do you have any thoughts about this matchup?
Um, I did enjoy Trick's reactions to Loomis throughout the match. He did a really good job of really selling his terror whenever Loomis would glance his way. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I thought that was great too. I agree. I thought that was a really nice touch. I guess we'll keep seeing how these people interact, especially because Johnny, got written off tonight.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. But yeah. After that, we get the reveal of the shaman. Okay, now this is another thing here. I personally was disappointed by this. I don't know what I was expecting. What did you think about Riddle being the shaman?
Dude, here's the thing. Was I also disappointed in this being Matt Riddle? A little, but then I realized the alternative was Jeff Hardy, and that's not much better. And frankly, they might have had it planned to be Jeff Hardy the whole time, but Jeff went home from that tour recently, so maybe he just like wasn't feeling well to be able to film this, so they just fucking called an audible and had to be Riddle instead. I don't really know, and I don't really care because I think Jeff Hardy is that much lamer than Riddle, even though he's not an accused sex assaulter, sexual abuser, whatever. Um, they both just kind of suck in their own different ways, and frankly, I wouldn't have been happy with either one. And I feel like I feel like Jeff Hardy was like the only alternative here, and I wouldn't have been happy with him either. So this is just going to be a dud no matter what at this point.
Yeah, I think you're really right on the money there. I think this was a thing where If you did Jeff Hardy, it was going to be kind of groan-inducing just with everything going on with him. If you did Matt Riddle, same thing. But I guess Matt, with everything he's got going on right now, and with Jeff's stuff being far more recent, is the lesser of two evils. It's just I hate that we even have to make those rationalizations, you know? Like yeah, it's a lot. So yeah, that whole thing, they do some weed jokes. And that's it to end the segment. They just learn to believe in themselves, and they'll get back to the top of the mountain.
This has got to be some kind of
it was weird though.
Interaction for people who were super into the Rascals in Impact, because their whole gimmick was that they were stoners. So like the idea that they're interacting with known stoner Matt Riddle probably made a lot of people happy. So even if it's not necessarily me that's the audience for this, I'm sure it at least found an audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, it was weird to me when MSK was like, oh, do Imperium have our number? When I'm like, but you've beaten Imperium. You've beaten Imperium. Like, you successfully defended the titles when you were the champions against Imperium at one point. So I don't understand this idea that they could have your number. That's just nonsensical to me.
Oh, Javaris is
so
in
I
chat
didn't understand that personally.
That the Guru could have been RVD instead of Hardy or Riddle.
Yeah, that probably would have been the best option. But again, yeah. There might be some bad blood between RVD and WWE, because I know he said some stuff about them. Like, I think he got injured on their watch, and that's why he couldn't make money. And WWE might just look at him as a toxic asset, even for a one-off. Like, nah.
Here's the thing. Remember, HBK has been in charge of NXT for the last few months. Never forget, RVD literally did a fucking really, really, like, on the nose but fucking mean, like, mocking impersonation of Shawn Michaels in one of his shoot videos, where he did, like, the whole fucking crooked eye thing and everything. Like, he really did not hold back. It was kind of fucked up, honestly.
Damn. That's fucking savage.
Did you not? I'm surprised you haven't seen
all right.
That,
yeah, well. No, I haven't. I low-key want to search it out, but time is valuable. And then, let's see. Yeah, Mandy Rose, she tells Vic to shut up, and her, Gigi, and JC, like, they're going to take care of business. They have stuff on their mind. So they head to the ring. And while we're waiting for them, we get a Persia and Indy Hartwell segment backstage. Persia asks Indy if she knew Dexter would be at War Games. Indy says she didn't know, but she's so glad he's back. Persia's glad as well, because now Indy can focus, get back on track, and do what they did back in Australia as a tag team. Persia talks about finally getting here from Australia after the world opened back up. But as soon as she got here, everything was all about the wedding and engagement. Persia needs Indy focused at 100%, focused on their team and winning the NXT Women's Tag Team titles, and do what she needs to leave the love at home. Indy says she is committed to Loomis, but she's also committed to this team. Then Loomis does walk up. Indy, kind of jumps in his arms. Johnny comes in, and he says he's happy to see the family back together. Persia doesn't seem thrilled about it, and I'm just going to get my hot take out of the way. I wish it was an episode where we didn't have all the technical issues. But yeah, I'm with Persia here 100%. And it's funny because we talk about this company's values and how they are more conservative. I don't like the idea that they're going to make Persia the heel when she's very focused on her sense of self-determination and wanting to accomplish things and being a successful wrestler. Like, that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. It's like, oh no, Indy's in the right because she's, more domestic now since being married, and she's got her priorities straight. Persia just needs to be more understanding. It's like, no, there's plenty of time to deal with your shit at home. You already poked through all the holes of this story last week. I'm not going to tread through them all. But yeah, like, I'm on Persia's side here. When it's in the ring, I want to succeed. I came all the way from Australia for this shit. Like, I feel for any superstar, especially those where English isn't like a language they pick up quickly. Anybody that uplifts their life and comes to a new country to bet on themselves, yeah, I'd be a bit pissed too if a friend that I was counting on to make that work for both of us, because it's tag team championship, was like, oh, Persia, honey, I wish I would, but I'm married now. Bullshit. Bullshit. I just wanted to clarify that I am 1000% Team Persia Perota, and I just wonder how you feel. Maybe you're between Javaris and I. Maybe you're more me. Maybe you're more Javaris, but I'm curious to get in your headspace.
I just like everyone, and I want everyone to get what they want, and I don't want anyone to be sad.
Well, you know what? You know, you kind of channeled your inner Abel there, and because of that, I think I'm just gonna let it go. I'm just gonna let it go, and I'm gonna move on.
Whoa.
Um.
So this is what being able feels
So
like all the
yeah,
time.
we get yeah, we get our NXT Women's Tag Team Champions Gigi and JC versus Valentina Feroz and Ulissa Leone.
Yeah,
How'd you feel about
good
this matchup?
pronunciation there, brother.
I appreciate it.
How did I feel?
I
I
did ask how you felt
really
about this matchup.
don't
Okay, yeah,
care
yeah.
for JC Jane all that much. I mean, I don't dislike her. She's kind of in Zoe Stark, but like early Zoe Stark territory for me before she got pushed to the point that she was teaming with Io and winning the tag titles. I'm just like meh on JC. Like she's okay. I don't hate her. I don't dislike her, but I'm also not into her. I fucking love Gigi, and I feel like she didn't get nearly enough ring time tonight. And Mandy, I like if we're rating these women as far as how much I'm into them as performers on a scale of 1 to 10, Gigi, I'm at like an 8.5, maybe a 9. JC, I'm at like a 3.5, maybe a 4. Mandy, I'm at like a -5. I could not possibly care less about her than I do.
Yes, yes. Uh, all right. We already talked about Mandy's promo, or
Oh
you know that
God.
she talked tonight and she did stuff.
Yeah.
Cora Jade interrupted. You know they're going
Unfortunately.
to be having their title match soon. Then Raquel came and made the save for Cora when it seemed like she'd be ganged up on. And then I just
God.
want to say this all at once because I know it was kind of broken up. Later they'd be backstage, and Cora was like, "Wouldn't it be something if I became champion?" And Raquel was just like, "Simmer down." And I hated it. Then Kaylee Ray comes in and she gives the baseball bat to Cora, says, "You're going to need this more than I am after War Games." And then Cora's like, "Well, cool, but what are you going to use?" And she's like, "Oh, I've got plenty, trust me." And she leaves. And then her and Raquel talk about just how crazy Kaylee Ray is. I've never been more dispirited in the women's. How has every division gotten worse?
Dude, the thing is,
I
not
don't understand
only
anything
is the
anymore.
women's division
Um,
super diluted right now, and it's seemingly the worst it's been in years, but they're like actively trying to make it worse with these fucking Tiffany Stratton vignettes.
oh, oh yes, they are, and that's what we got next. You know what? I'm calling an audible here. I was going to talk about this, but then I remembered. No. So after her vignette, we get
Wait! I actually
backstage
do kind of
with
want to talk
Tony
about it,
D'Angelo.
if for no other reason to talk about how ridiculous it is.
Then you can have at it, bud. I've said all I can that's productive about Tiffany
Oh.
Stratton because I felt like I gave my best material last week.
I don't remember what you said last week though, so I don't want to be repetitive. So like, give me like a fucking spark notes.
Well, no, just how I would do this because it just seems like Frankie Monet at home, which I said
Oh
two
right.
weeks ago. But then last week I did reiterate that. But then I gave this whole thing about how it's very clearly like Princess Morbucks vibes from Powerpuff Girls.
Mm-hmm.
So like lean into it 100%. Pay off people, buy off everybody, win everything, but not even like $1 million man way. Like make it really sneaky. Like it seems like Tiffany's lost, but then fucking Tiffany slips 100 or something, and it's like, oh, turns out that we're grabbing the tights. Match restarted. Bam, Tiffany gets the win. Like really lean into it. But I think it's just going to be like a combination of Frankie Monet and honestly, after this vignette, maybe a little bit of Charlotte Flair. And like that's hideous. That is a hideous hybrid that no one asked for. And if any of you did ask for it, I just want to talk. So now you can go.
Take another step closer. I just want to talk. I just want to have a conversation. I just want to say something to you, but I gotta whisper it in your ear. It's a secret. I got a big secret I want to share with you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, dude. This vignette, like, I haven't been super doomy or gloomy about Tiffany Stratton just because she's an athlete, and obviously they're giving her a very defined character from the jump. This vignette made me want to die.
Yeah, yeah. My daddy says. Every time she says, "My daddy says," I die a little inside. I can't do this anymore, you guys. I can't. I can't. I can't do this
are we
anymore.
Getting too
Like,
old for
I'm
this
almost.
shit?
I need to. No, I was about to say. I'm about to show you all how the fucking sausage is made. Okay? Because, like, next year in February, I'm going to be 30 fucking years old. You think at 30 fucking years old, when people ask me, "Hey, John, how was your day?" I want to tell them, "Oh, well, see, I review media for a living. You know, I review pro wrestling. And there's this woman coming through, and she's really, really confident in herself because her daddy told her everything." Shoot me. Shoot me. That's all I ask.
Did you
I'm
actually
done.
watch
I
this
don't have any
vignette, or
cruelty
did
left
you
in me.
mute it
I
as
don't
soon
have
as
any
it
love
started?
left in
Which
me.
I couldn't blame you.
Say that again?
Did you actually watch the vignette or just mute it?
Bro, I am so dedicated to this shit for reasons that I'm really starting to question if this is the quality we have to deal with. I actually watch this shit. And
So
I'm
you
watching
saw
it
the tail
after
end
having
of
a
it
pretty rough.
where she was
Yeah.
like, "Daddy told me that I don't belong on a team because I'm a superstar by myself, and that's how I'm going to be in NXT. But what's better than a gold medal? The NXT Women's Championship." So they're really trying to hype us up for a fucking women's championship match between Mandy Rose and Tiffany Stratton. Are we seriously trying to close in on like fucking Impact levels? Well, you know, that one match that they had between the reality star and Bobby Lashley's wife, fucking Impact levels, or not Bobby Lashley's, like Booker T's wife, Impact levels of shit tier women's matches. Jenna Maraska versus Charmel. It just came to me.
Bro, I don't
That's
even
what
know.
this match is
I'm just
feeling like.
worried that if Mandy and Tiffany collide. Yeah, I'm just worried that if Mandy and Tiffany collide, it'll accidentally be a fusion. And then they'll just create a being that, again, is just very close to Charlotte Flair. And then she'll finally have somebody in the locker room that she can get along with. And then that's just horrible, right? Because then they'll pair up and we'll never hear the fucking end of it. Something like that. Keep working on it. But more importantly, it shouldn't even happen. You know, I say keep working on it, but that, like, no, that would be legitimizing the abomination. You don't legitimize abominations. You greet them with fire, preferably.
Oh, you
Lots of
mentioning
it,
abominations
so that it
makes
never
me
fucking
think of
happens
Owl
again.
House.
Okay, that's fair, and that show's been really good. A lot better than NXT's been as of late. I don't know how many ways I can say that literally on the biological level, I viscerally reject this. I can hear my organ. Like, you guys gotta understand, I don't even drink enough water as I probably should. I've been telling myself, like, oh, you know, remember to drink water, remember to drink water. My body cries out more for this shit to stop than it does for me to drink water. Okay? So, which means on a pecking order, my body thinks this is worse for me than not drinking water. This shit fucking sucks. What is this? What is this? How am I supposed to get excited for Tiffany Stratton when you've already told me her in-ring experience? She's green as goose shit. And then you want to tell me that you're a great athlete, but oh wait, you're a gymnast. Wait, we've done this before because Charlotte was volleyball and wasn't Alexa a gymnast or something, or was she just a cheerleader? I could swear we've done this before. Was it Alexa? There you fucking go. So yeah, the bar was just so high to begin with. How is it still eating dirt? How is this happening to me? Where did my life go wrong?
Bro, I feel like
I'm
you're about to
begging
pull
somebody
a
watching
me
somehow.
and say, please don't do this to me.
Dude, I am literally, with all 6 of you here, whoever the fuck you are that have a 6th sense of entertainment, I am begging someone for help. I am begging someone for help. I don't know where my life went wrong. Help me figure it out. I don't know. This is awful. Like, I will say, being serious, I'm going to pull it back a bit. I'm going to make a very serious point here. You seriously fucking expect me to tolerate this when you and I watch Stardom on a regular basis? Seriously?
Dude, that is the exact
No.
problem, right?
No.
Like, there
No,
was
happening.
a time.
Not happening. You said at the start, like, it makes
late 2000s, early 2010s, where the WWE's norm for women was like the fucking Michelle McCool, Melina, Kelly, fucking Crystal Marshall types. And while they were at least fun to look at, which I can't even say about Mandy Rose and Tiffany Stratton, they, I kind of was under the assumption that our standards were raising as far as the actual in-ring ability goes. And Javaris has a theory that WWE never gave a fuck about women's wrestling, and they're punishing us for making them fake it, which I do think that's a little out there, and I'm not necessarily buying into that. But like that just goes to show you how incredibly abusive a viewer's relationship is with the WWE product, that they actually genuinely believe that the WWE hates us so fucking much for wanting them to have standards that they're trying to punish us for it by giving us even worse shit than they were doing before.
And personally, like, I'm offended that this happened to me. I just really need to drive that point home. I am offended that this happened to me tonight.
Oh, we did get a $5 super chat though from Javaris, and he pretty much just repeated the same thing. They are really punishing us for making them fake giving a crap about women's wrestling, aren't they?
Oh, and Foster said also they're canning 205, so this episode wasn't it.
Oh yeah,
for
dude,
me.
didn't you see the Gacy promo?
And yeah, it just seems like
during
WWE
the Gacy
promo,
promo,
it's funny. Everybody was like, "Oh, is WWE selling? Is WWE?"
Sorry, during the Gacy promo, he kind of implied that he was going to be kind of rebranding 205 Live to make it more inclusive.
So yeah, like, you know what's so funny is that there was like wild speculation, and I'm not saying I wasn't a part of it. I was definitely curious myself what was happening, but people were like, "Oh, is WWE? Are they selling? Is that what's happening here? Is NXT or is WWE like selling stuff?" And no, they weren't selling at all. What actually happened was they're fucking massively restructuring, which sometimes can be necessary. That in and of itself isn't a bad thing. It's just now we're seeing what the restructuring is, and it just makes me go, oh, okay. Like, what? Is this? What else? What else?
I'm trying to think.
I don't know, guys.
Is this
like, Ashton,
even
more
what were you gonna say? Of like a stark, jarring change of scenery and change of direction than the transitions from Attitude to Ruthless Aggression, and even from Ruthless Aggression to PG were? Because I kind of feel like it is.
Dude, I definitely think it is, because I can tell you, for me, Attitude to Ruthless Aggression felt pretty seamless.
Yeah.
Because Vince did that promo.
Yeah, I remember the Vince promo talking about how he wants people to be, show Ruthless Aggression. And then, of course, we got the Cena thing where Kurt was like, what's the one quality? Ruthless aggression! And that whole thing. But then, like, even I feel like the transition from Ruthless Aggression to PG, while it was definitely jarring in some ways, I still feel like they pulled that off so much smoother and over a longer stretched out period of time than they're doing this shit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're definitely right about that, man. 1000%. This just feels so clunky and kind of overwhelming in a weird way. It's like they've got all these moving parts and they're doing all this stuff. And I think it'd be less overwhelming if like I was receptive to more of it, but I don't want to put it that way because it makes it seem like the problem's on me, and I don't think the problem's on me. Not to say that I'm right, but all this stuff's subjective, and I'm just saying it's not for me. So yeah, it's weird, man. It's really
Uh-oh.
when we're not in the midst of recording, we talk about what we want to do in the future and this and that, and I don't know how much longer NXT has on here because I'm not into this either. And we get Tony D'Angelo. Tony D'Angelo's interacting with Andre. I know how I am. I can give a long leash to people. I will readily admit that. But I know sooner or later, even I'm going to be like, okay, well, what else you got? Kind of thing, like whether in ring or otherwise. Maybe it'll even be another 6 months. But I know I'm going to want more from the dude. Doesn't have to be right now, but I do look at him and how green he is, and it's something that crosses my mind. Andre Chase has grown on me a little bit, but I'm like, okay, what is WWE's vision for the next 5, 10 years? I was watching an old matchup today. It was TLC 4, that one where Kane retained the tag titles by himself, and somebody made the point that this was par for the course for the mid card back then. I don't know if you have a really strong mid card now where you could do that kind of stuff. I think in a way you do, but it's kind of a shame because some of those people that are in the mid card should be in the main event. So it's really, I think, just because people aren't really getting what they should, at least in my opinion. It's a whole weird thing. I just feel so out of sync with this company, I think ultimately is where I'm at. But yeah, Tony says that, how about him and Chase meet in the ring next week? Chase agrees. And then, yeah. And after that, we get Escobar versus Zion Quinn. So this match actually interested me, and I thought both these guys did really good work. Santos is on top of his game. I'm actually offended in a way that he hasn't tried facing Ciampa for the NXT Championship, because obviously you know what a big fan of Santos I am. But what did you think about this match, man? I'm curious to get in your head about how you thought Santos and Zion interacted here.
Just want to make sure you can still hear me here.
I just heard that.
Okay.
A
So
little bit of it.
There's still quite a delay, but we're good. I think there might be something going on with my internet because we had like a weird thing come up where it was like, oh, you're offline, try and refresh or try again or something. And then it came back and it seems fine now, but I don't know what the hell's going on with my internet. Regardless, yeah, I really like Andre Chase. He's really entertaining, and I love how this dude with this obnoxious, thick Southern accent seriously had the nerve to say, "Who talks like that about Tony D'Angelo?"
Yeah, that was a great interaction. Again, Andre Chase has definitely grown on me for sure. But I don't know if I cut out for you, but I did ask you what you thought about Zion Quinn versus Santos because I thought this
God,
was
no,
one of the
you're
better
right.
things
I did
NXT
hear
had
you
on it
say
tonight.
that. I was so distracted by the weird internet things that are going on that I just blanked. Yeah. Do you think they're gonna try and
That's
tell
fine.
the story of Elektra usurping Santos as the leader of LDF, and that would be their way of letting Santos turn face?
That would be fascinating. I did not think at all in that direction that you're thinking in, but I love it. You really think so?
Well, she's taken matters into her own hands, and it seemed tonight like she wanted to try and help Zion beat Santos. And like, if you're a loyal follower in a faction of your leader, you don't do shit like that. So obviously, her loyalty has to be called into question. And then my next logical step is maybe she's not loyal to him because she wants the boys to be loyal to her.
Interesting.
I'm actually
Interesting.
surprised that this never crossed
Yeah.
your mind.
Yeah, I mean, at most, I thought Elektra would leave LDF and be with Zion Quinn and be his valet. I never thought she would take
Oh.
the group over.
Dude,
That's
that's my
far
thing
more
though,
interesting.
because she comes off
Far
like
more
such a
interesting to me.
fucking boss ass bitch, and like she literally even had the promo the other week where she was like, "I am a grown ass woman, and I know what I want, and I get what I want," and that whole thing. And I'm like, She wants the whole fucking thing, doesn't she?
Yeah, yeah. Like she's played her part really well, to her credit. There's no doubt about that. Um, yeah, I love that idea. You've made me appreciate this whole feud even more than I already was, and I was appreciating it just because of how different it seems to be.
Yeah.
Um, Again, I thought these two worked really well together. And then there comes a point, where they're both down. Elektra very clearly, puts brass knucks on the hand of Zion Quinn. Zion isn't even aware of it or anything else. Then Joaquin gets on the apron, distracts the referee. Santos takes advantage. He kind of disorients Zion, hits the Phantom Driver, and gets the 3 count. So I think this is Zion Quinn's first loss as well. So I don't know. Do you think they made a mistake by already kind of blowing his streak, or is this actually for the best so he doesn't get lumped in with Goldberg and those other type of gimmicks?
I was just gonna say, dude, I think the reason that this wasn't a bad move is because Quinn has shown that he has a personality and that he doesn't need an undefeated streak to have a character. I love that about him.
I love that too. So you know what? Even you saying that, I'm definitely inclined to agree with you. I think this protects his future and his value long term. Because I mean, let's be real, bro. I don't mean to be an asshole, but I would hope that you and maybe even some people on our chat can agree with me on this. Wrestling fans are assholes, and I don't trust this fucking arena especially. So if they started to catch on that he had a streak, they'd heckle him with Goldberg chants or something like that. I don't trust them to be respectful at all. So for them to just kind of go this route, even if they still dunk on him, they're not going to be able to hold this over him. So I actually think that was a smart pivot on their part. After
and
that,
again, it's not like he wasn't
Raquel
protected.
and Cora
He was
Jade,
very protected. He lost after a lot of distractions and interference and shit. So, they still preserve his integrity for sure.
Oh, absolutely. After this, we get more Diamond Mine. I love how much Diamond Mine was on the show tonight. They're walking in the parking lot. Malcolm Bivens talks more about Roderick Strong and how he's going to defeat Braun next week. Carmelo and Trick show up, and Carmelo's been hearing that shit that Bivens has been talking about Roderick being the A champion. And Haze says, don't get it twisted. I am the A champion. I'm the top champion here. And, Bivens counters back like, if you're going to talk that, Strong's beaten Odyssey Jones. He's beaten Joe Gacy. He's going to beat Breaker next week. Hayes says, look, I know all about Strong. Strong was the foundation. Strong's done a lot for this company, but you know what Strong isn't? He isn't the A champion. And Hayes and Trick, they walk off, and Bivens just wonders aloud why everyone's so damn disrespectful around here. I, too, wonder that, Malcolm. I too, wonder that same thing. You deserve a lot more respect than what you get, sir, and I'm sorry. Yeah, you hate to see it. I agree. Shame on these people for being so disrespectful to Bivens. Like, excuse you? I'm sorry.
Shame on them and their faces.
Exactly. Like, if they had your face, maybe they'd have the right. And even I know, with as excellent as you are and I am, Malcolm Bivens, I mean, you don't fuck with that if you want to live. So, I don't know. I guess Hayes just wants to spin that wheel.
Ain't nothing to fuck
but
with.
After that, That's right. Keep that energy. So we're kind of warming up for Gargano, but then we get another Boa thing.
Yeah, this was.
And again, I wish I cared about this. Yeah, like poor Boa, man. I don't know, like, because then you know what? Like, I hate to even say this, but like, I feel worse for them because we know how China is right now, which isn't to say that the U.S. is better. We talk about how shitty the U.S. is all the time, right? But like, Zaya said her family practically disowned her, and that's fucking heartbreaking because it's like, wow, you really bet on yourself, and you're kind of tugging nervously because, you have to be honest about her, and she is green, and it might not work, even though, again, I think her vignettes on the main roster have been badass. We don't know if Boa is a similar story. Yeah. We don't know if Boa's family approve of what he's doing or not, or if he got excommunicated from his family. So, like, I don't want to generalize because obviously that's bad, but like if Zaya said it out loud, I'm wondering what Boa's story is. And if it is, I'm like, well, holy shit, the dude's a fucking sweetheart. I don't want to be an asshole to this dude. I don't want to be an asshole to anybody. But like, I don't understand this. I don't think it's working for him. I don't even really think they knew how to deal with this when they had it. Because now they're doing this other stuff with Karen Q, which is admittedly interesting. You know, but like, they very clearly wanted to keep this gimmick. Why not just do it from the beginning? Why not just wait until he was really ready to take it? Then you debut it. Then we freak out and like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome because he can work with it. And then he goes on a run. But you're trying to do it. See, you know what the problem is? And I didn't think this would become a conversational point. And again, like, I honestly just want to get to this review because I know we've had a lot of technical issues tonight. But I need to say this. It's not Boa. It's what Boa represents that's really pissing me off. What he represents is they want to do everything at once. This company has no fucking patience. Their new model is literally, you can learn on the job. Just go out there and do it.
Yep.
And it's like, no, you're not maximizing his value that way. You are setting up this man to fail. You are setting up him. Hell, I'll even say it about her because now I feel like a light bulb just went off in my head and I realize now why I'm so fucking angry. You're doing it to Tiffany Stratton too. I'm sure Tiffany's a sweetheart. I'm sure she's never fucking hurt anybody. I'm sure she just wants to wrestle, and it's really cool because I'm with WWE. Or maybe she doesn't. She's like Alexa Bliss, and she thinks it's cool, which I'll admit, being kind of a snob, that annoys me a little bit, but who am I to judge, right? Live your fucking life. But whatever your motivations are, you're setting them up to fail when you're trying to do everything at fucking once. Take your goddamn time. I don't need to see this dude for 6 months. I'm not gonna, like, and again, this is no offense to him, but is anybody seriously gonna say, didn't see Boa this week? Didn't see Boa this week? Like, you know, for months at a time? No. No, and that's a good thing, because then you can get him ready, really ready, and then you can bring him out here with this, and then you and I can come on here and do what I would love to do every week and talk about how fucking awesome it was.
Yeah.
But because you are so committed to doing everything at once, it's a clusterfuck that I feel fucking bad for the dude because I know he's doing the best he can. I mean, folks, come on now. I'm not gonna fucking kick people while they're down. You'd shit yourself knowing the kind of stuff that I couldn't do even in my early 20s that I had to learn. And this dude's expected to be on a television program, pulling off a gimmick, God knows with how much training. That's pressure. I feel for the dude. I really do. You know what? I'm sick of just individuating because that's on me. That is on me. No, it's not his fault, and it's not Tiffany's fault. It is a company philosophy that wants its cake and wants to have its cake and eat it too, all at the same fucking time. All at the same fucking time. And their lack of patience is going to ruin these people. And it's going to give us nothing to be excited for. You could even maybe make the same argument that Grayson Wahl's in the same boat. They're trying to make that dude a top heel. And for what? He still looks green as goose shit to me. Tony might be the same way. Tony and Tony might be the worst one because he is a gimmick that people are really gravitating onto. But we know the lifespan of this kind of shit with the internet. They're always looking for the next best thing. And if Tony's in-ring work can't match it, he is going to fade real quick. So you want to talk about setting up to fail. This was a guy that with social media and everything saw instant success. But if you can't work and if you can't back it up and you can't bring that other half, how are people going to stay with you and rock with you for as long as your run's going to be? I fucking hate what this company is doing to these people.
You know,
you talk about a future, you're not giving the chance for the future to breathe.
D'Angelo kind of gives me vibes of from like a type of worker vibe like standpoint.
Who's that, bro?
Fucking Sandow. Did you not hear what I said? Hello?
Yeah, you said, do you know who D'Angelo reminds me of as far as like a worker type?
So
and then I never heard your answer because I said who, bro?
Answer.
And then I never heard your answer.
The answer is Damian fucking Sandow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair, actually. I can understand that. I actually agree with that the more I think about it. Holy shit. It's actually really a really good comparison, I think. Wow.
It's just the idea of this really
That
charismatic
really
dude
sucks.
with a really, really good character that's really, really over, but he gets in the ring and like he has a few things that he can do in the ring that are cool that people like, that people will pop for, but when you ask him to wrestle a match that's not just like an exhibition or a squash match that really allows him to just get his shit in and go home, yeah, that's when you run into some problems.
Yeah, yeah. And that's really a shame because this might be a guy that people would want to see be NXT champion. But he doesn't have the work rate and the in-ring ability. Again, because I think Sandow's a perfect comparison. And if he is a Sandow, he doesn't have the ability, in my mind, to carry that load. So if this crowd really wants something for him, it would be to his own detriment. Because they didn't take the time to really, in my mind, vet him to see how far he can go. And I don't know. Because the only way I could really see him compensating for it would be a lot of character work in the match. Kind of like how he did with his debut, like trying to pay the referee off and stuff like that. But I think that would get old really quickly, at least for you and I. So I don't
Well,
know.
and that's another
It's
big
just
thing with Sandow, right?
it's a
Because he had
really rough place that
like
NXT is in, man.
the combo moves and like the Koito Akiet that he used to do and all that stuff. And like he had all the character stuff that he did in his matches, and that was literally all he had in his matches, which is exactly what ended up being the problem.
Right. Yeah. It's just it's rough, man. It's rough. I don't know. I don't know what they do. I don't know what the answer is. I wish I knew. Um, but yeah, I think after that was the Gargano stuff. I think I just really want to get oh yeah, because we're talking about Boa. That's right. So yeah, it was the Johnny stuff. Waller attacked. We pretty much talked about this at the start of the show. So I think with that said, we can get to our next segment: high spots and low shots. I'm just gonna take the low hanging fucking fruit. My low shots, fucking Johnny Gargano. Last night in NXT, and he gets taken out by fucking Grayson Waller. No, you go. No, you go. It's fine.
I was just gonna say I'll take the other low hanging fruit, Kyle O'Reilly.
Perfect. High spot for me. Honestly, honorary high spot Diamond Mine, just for how much TV time they got. I loved how featured they were tonight. But then actual high spot, I'll give it to Santos for beating Zion Quinn. So yeah, Santos will be my high spot.
A really good high spot, actually. I think. Oh God, I low key. Part of me wants to give my high spot to Diamond Mind, but you did mention them as your honorable mention. I think. God, I really don't want to give my high spot to fucking Jensen and Briggs, but like if we're going by who had the best night, they might actually just be the answer to that question, unfortunately. Um, my high spot. Who won matches tonight? I'm trying to remember who other than Jensen and Briggs and Escobar, who you already mentioned, and fucking Wagner, which no, he's not my high spot. Those the only three matches that we got tonight? No, there was the tag match, the women's tag match. What else was there tonight? Were there any other matches? Hello? John, are you still there?
Dude, you just dropped off after you said women. Yeah, you just really dropped off for me after you said women's tag match. You dropped off big.
Oh, were there any other matches other than the cage match, the women's tag match, the Escobar match, and the Jensen and Briggs tag match?
Not that I know. Let me just do. Well, did you say Haze versus Loomis with
No, I
Loomis winning
forgot
by
that
DQ? Because that was a match, but I don't remember you mentioning
Yeah,
that.
you know what? Fuck it. Loomis can be my high spot because he technically did beat the North American champion tonight.
Yeah, and let's be honest, that is definitely the most painless option. You know, we actually root for Loomis in this house, so
Exactly.
I'm all for that. So yeah, guys. Yeah, with that said, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my court and commentary Ashton. Guys, be sure to like the videos you file out. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for NXT reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. Be sure to check out everything we're involved in the description box. Most notably, check out our Patreon. We offer TWitWoW requests. I know we're going to be having one. I know we're still trying to work out a date, Javaris, for your request, and I know you're maybe still in the chat. And I know we've got a request for December 22nd from the Chiefin. We're going to be doing an OTT show, so that'll be coming up this month. So if you want us to react to wrestling matches or a whole show or whatever, check out our Patreon or our price breakdowns. We also offer additional Q&A questions for $1. We do Q&A at the end of every month. This month it's going to be December 30th. Non-Patreon donors only get 3 questions. If you donate to the Patreon, you get up to 5 questions. I would donate $3 because you get the Q&A questions, but you also get access to the TWitWoW Discord. It's a great server, wonderful people, a channel for practically everything, including submitting your Q&A questions. I think it's one of the easiest places to submit Q&A questions. The other easiest place I will get to in a moment. And yeah, you can talk about pretty much anything. And we do game nights, Mondays and Fridays. It's really cool, really chill, awesome stuff. And yeah, so beyond that, follow us both on Twitter. I'm at John_TwitWoW. My pinned tweet is meant to collect Q&A questions, so be sure to give that a look. And Ashton's pinned tweet is the TWitWoW schedule. Ashton, have we decided if Thursday is going to work for us due to Javaris' request? Should I tell everybody to be on the lookout for that for Thursday?
Yeah, I guess that works.
All right. Well, he said he guesses that works. So, guys, we'll be reacting to Noah matches on Thursday. Do we have a time set? I'm guessing any time works.
5. Let me see if I can find it. He didn't give us a time. He just said, how about Thursday? And I don't know how many matches it is. Do you know how many matches it is? Did you see?
I thought it was like 3, but let me check.
So yeah, we should be fine to go live at 5. It's not like we're going to overlap anything. I think Impact doesn't even come on until 9, so even if we go 4 hours, we're just fine.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So tomorrow at 5, doing Noah reactions. Thank you, Javaris. Should be very interesting. And then yeah, guys, Friday is just game night. 2 Nakajima matches, so it's actually just 2 matches. 2 Nakajima matches. You guys are going to see Nakajima kick fucking heads off. So tomorrow at 5 should be perfect. So yeah, guys, we'll see you then. Friday is games, and then this weekend should just be pretty chill because there's no pay-per-view or anything. So we'll see you Thursday at 5. Until then, be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Tune in, and peace out.